Devizes, dᵻvaɪzᵻz, is a constituency in Wiltshire, England, which is represented in the House of Commons of the UK Parliament and includes 4 towns and many villages in the middle and east of the county. The area's representative has been a Conservative since 1924. History. Until 1885, Devizes was a parliamentary borough, electing 2 members of parliament by the block vote system until the 1868 election, when the Reform Act 1867 reduced its representation to 1 MP elected by the first-past-the-post system of election. The Redistribution of Seats Act 1885 abolished the parliamentary borough and created a new county constituency of the same name, covering a wider area and electing 1 member. It has returned a Conservative MP at every election since 1924. Its most notable MP was Henry Addington, who held the seat during his term as Prime Minister, as well as when he was Speaker of the House of Commons. Boundaries. 1885 to 1918, the municipal borough of Devizes and Marlborough, and the sessional divisions of Devizes, Everley, Pusey, Marlborough, and Ramsey, and part of the sessional division of Pusey. 1918 to 1950, the municipal boroughs of Devizes and Marlborough, the rural districts of Devizes, Marlborough, Pusey, and Ramsbury, and part of the rural district of Highworth. 1950 to 1983, the municipal boroughs of Devizes and Marlborough, and the rural districts of Devizes, Highworth, Marlborough, and Ramsbury, and Pusey. 1983 to 1997, the district of Kennet, and the borough of Thames Down, wards of Blunsdon, Chiseldon, Covingham, Highworth, Ridgeway, St Margaret, St Philip, and Wreweon. 1997 to 2010, the district of Kennet, the district of North Wiltshire, wards of Calner Abboud, Calner Central, Calner North, Calner North East, Calner South, and Calner Without, and the district of West Wiltshire, wards of Blackmore Forest, Melksham Forest, Melksham Lambourne, Melksham Round Point, Melksham Town, and Melksham Woodrow. 2010-present, the district of Kennet, and the district of Salisbury, wards of Bulford and Durrington. The Devizes constituency covers Devizes in Wiltshire and the surrounding former Kennet district, which includes the towns of Marlborough, Durrington and Tidworth. Members of Parliament. Devizes has been a safe Conservative seat since 1945. The current Member of Parliament is Claire Perry, who was first elected at the 2010 general election, succeeding Michael Ancrum, who had stood down at that election on health grounds. Fictional Member of Parliament. Devizes was the stated constituency of fictional Conservative MP the Honourable Sir Piers Fletcher Dervish Baronet, later Junior Minister for Housing, in the TV sitcom The New Statesman, which was produced and set during the same decade that Charles Andrew Morrison was MP for the real-life seat. He was portrayed by actor Michael Trout in Elections in the 2010s, elections in the 2000s, elections in the 1990s, elections in the 1980s, elections in the 1970s, elections in the 1960s, elections in the 1950s, elections in the 1940s, general election 1939-40. Another general election was required to take place before the end of 1940. The political parties had been making preparations for an election to take place from 1939, and by the end of this year, the following candidates had been selected: Conservative, Sir Percy Heard; Liberal, Francis Joseph E. Elections in the 1930s, elections in the 1920s, elections in the 1910s denotes candidate who was endorsed by the coalition government. Elections in the 1900s, neighbouring constituencies.